Welcome to our Rural Wellington Low Back Pain Education session, where you will learn about strategies to modify your daily activities to help you conserve your energy and reduce your risk of flaring your back while completing your day-to-day tasks. The focus of today's presentation is recognizing that our backs can only handle so many demands. In order to keep our bodies feeling good and at their baseline level of pain, there must be a balance between the mental and physical demands that we are putting on our backs in a day and the amount that we are letting our backs rest so that we can prevent ourselves from overdoing it and not exceed our back capacity in order to prevent our backs from flaring. What we see with benign back pain is that for various reasons, there is an imbalance between the demands we are putting on our body and how much our back can handle. So for example, if you decide to clean your whole house in one day, we often see that the high demands required from our bodies to clean your entire house exceeds what your back can handle in that day, often resulting in a back flare. Our goal is to work with you to help you identify the causes of this imbalance for you and discover what changes you can implement in your daily life to help you find a better balance for you and your back. A lot of this stems from listening to our backs and not overdoing it. Instead of pushing through the pain, we want you to learn how to listen to your body's warning signs and learn to modify or stop an activity when the demands of a task exceed our back capacity. There are also strategies that you can learn to help increase our back capacity, but we're not going to dive into that today. So you might be thinking, how do we achieve this balance? We can do this by increasing our back capacity and reducing the demands that we are putting on ourselves and our backs. And today we're going to learn some strategies on how we can modify our activities in order to place fewer demands on our body by learning about proper body mechanics and energy conservation strategies. We are going to start by looking at the importance of repositioning our bodies. Being in one position for too long can actually cause muscles to tighten or stiffen up. As the saying goes, motion is lotion, and your back is made to move. It is going to feel its best when it's not in one position for too long. Whether you are sitting on your comfy couch for hours or in an awkward position cleaning, both of these prolonged positions can place extra strain and tension on the body and increase your chances of having a back flare. When we hold these positions for too long, the same muscles are working, so they become overtired, overworked, and they need a rest. Repositioning gives your muscles a short break to re-energize. Now I want you to take a minute to think to yourself, how often do you reposition your body? What are some examples of how you reposition your body? And how often should you be repositioning your body? Ideally, we want to move our bodies every 30 to 60 minutes. Now, in saying that, this does vary from person to person, which is why it is good to know your body and listen to your body's warning signs and then reposition accordingly. It's important to note that repositioning doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stop a task and go take a rest. Sometimes it can be just as effective to simply switch tasks or switch how your body is positioned while still having movement. So for example, when prepping food in the kitchen, you can stand for a while, then alternate that with periods of sitting so that your back has an opportunity to reposition. Or you can switch between activities. So you can fold laundry for a while, then dust for a small length of time, which just gives your body that ability to reposition. Next, we are going to talk about body mechanics, which looks at our body's coordination, alignment, balance, and movement. Our bodies were designed with an ideal position and way of moving. That's not to say we always need to be within this ideal, but striving to be mindful of the most efficient way to hold our bodies when we are sitting, standing, sleeping, or exerting ourselves can be helpful and place less strain on our low backs. Now we are going to explore some strategies that can help us achieve the balance between our body's abilities and the demands we are putting on it. Energy conservation looks at finding a balance between work, rest, and play so that you can learn how to use your body and energy most efficiently. Saving energy does not mean doing less, but rather using energy more wisely, or as they say, working smarter, not harder. We will now dive into the 4 P's: prioritize, plan, pace, and position. The first strategy we are going to look at is prioritizing. We all have busy lives and busy schedules, So it's important to make sure we are taking the time to prioritize our day in a way that matches what our body can handle so that we don't end up overdoing it. Strategies to help us prioritize include: decide what needs to be done today and what can wait for another day. Start with the task that needs to be completed. Making a list of priorities. Making time for the things that you enjoy doing to prevent overdoing it by accounting for time for these meaningful tasks. It is important to plan ahead to avoid filling one day with highly active jobs. Try breaking up heavy and highly demanding jobs throughout your week rather than doing it all in 1 or 2 days. For example, if you need to clean your house this week, weed your garden, and go grocery shopping, try to break that out over the course of your week rather than trying to do it all on Monday. Next, looking at pacing. The first component of pacing is breaking down your task into manageable parts and slowly building up towards a goal. Rather than setting one unachievable goal, such as clean my entire house from top to bottom today, instead maybe start with sweeping my floors in my kitchen, and then my living room, and moving throughout the house, slowly building up from there. The next key piece is listening to your body and knowing when it's time to take a break. It's best to rest before your back is sore. We often feel warning signs that tell us that our back is starting to get tired. Some of these include, but are not exclusive to, sweating, shaking, tiredness, shortness of breath, increase in pain, and more. These signs are unique to each person, so we advise you to listen to your body's warning signs, as this is your body's warning of a pain response. Similar to the fire alarm in your house, don't ignore it when it's going off. Rest is so important because it helps restore energy to your body. It can also give your back the rest it needs to prevent it from going into a flare. If you rest before becoming exhausted or being in significant pain, you will need less time to recover. Finally, trying to take breaks throughout a task rather than only once a task is completed allows you to have small movement breaks or give your body a rest from the task it is doing, and can help prevent your back from getting to the point of a flare-up. Planning and pacing go hand in hand, with the example of cleaning the house by breaking down tasks into smaller and more manageable components and planning ahead throughout our week. We can avoid doing too many physically demanding tasks at one time. Rather than cleaning the entire house in one day, spacing out the tasks throughout the week and taking rest days as needed will help us to prevent overdoing it to help conserve our energy. Based on what we have learned today, we want to implement these strategies to help us achieve the just right challenge for ourselves. Too little activity often results in dissatisfaction, and when we are not engaging in enough movement and activity, it can result in an increase in back pain. But on the other hand, if you place too many demands on your body, you will end up overdoing it and experience an imbalance between your back capacity and demands, resulting in overdoing it and pushing through the pain. When we achieve that just right challenge, then we can set realistic and achievable goals, which gives us a sense of pride and accomplishment and make steps towards achieving our goals. One thing to note is that the just right challenge is different for everyone. Unfortunately, there isn't a magical formula to figure out how much our bodies can handle, as this is something that varies not only by person but by day. This is where knowing your body and its warning signs and knowing when to change or stop an activity is crucial. If you are finding that you are currently doing too much activity and working through the pain, then that is your sign that you would benefit from assessing and modifying your activity. You can do this in 2 ways. First option is slowly start decreasing your activity level in small amounts to find what level of demand you can tolerate. So for example, slowly start spending less time vacuuming until you find it is not aggravating for you. Or the second option is to stop doing the activity and start reintroducing it in small amounts. So start over next time you vacuum, start for 1 to 2 minutes, then stop and check in with yourself. If you can tolerate that without any warning signs, try another couple minutes and then reassess again. Next, looking at your body's positioning. It is important to position your body in a way that will support your low back. Trying to avoid slouching, as this alters the alignment of your spine, placing additional strain on your back and causing muscle fatigue. Another thing to look at is organizing your environment to meet your needs. So things like storing commonly used items in easy to reach places. For example, storing items that you commonly use in your kitchen at optimal heights, or set up your office space so that items you commonly use are within your immediate reach. Another thing to look at is using tools when needed to support optimal positioning. Let's dive into these strategies a little further. Looking at the image on the screen, it shows what an ideal posture looks like in the middle photo. Then on either side of that, we see more pronounced, poor postures, which we regularly see. Naturally, our back does have a curve in it. It looks like an S when we see it from the side. It should be seen, but not exaggerated. Now, to focus on the low back area, our spine and pelvic bones are attached, and the posture of one affects the posture of the other. Ideally, we want a neutral pelvis, which allows for a neutral back and allows our core muscle team to work as it is supposed to. But in most cases, people typically have a pelvic tilt in one direction, either forward or back. This creates either a bigger or smaller angle than is ideal in our low back. When this happens, certain muscles of the core have a difficult time working efficiently when the pelvis is tilted forward, which results in our back muscles having to work a lot harder than they are designed to. When looking at how to best position your body to help maintain a neutral position when sleeping, it is recommended that you sleep on your side with a pillow positioned between your knees, or sleep on your back with a pillow positioned under your knees, as shown on the screen. Throughout the night, you can expect that you may end up tossing and turning, with the pillow ending up getting moved out of place, and that's okay. We cannot control what our bodies do when we are sleeping. However, we can set up our bodies for success before we go to sleep by ensuring that our back is supported. Another factor to consider is the firmness of your mattress, as this can play a critical role in how our backs feel, as it impacts the alignment of our spines. As you can see in the image on the screen, in order to best support our backs, we want to find a mattress with the right degree of firmness. If our mattress is too hard or too soft, we see that our spine is not supported in a neutral position, which then puts additional stress on our back. This preference is individualized, so it is important to find a mattress firmness that works for you. It is also good to be mindful of how old your mattress is, as the general guidelines is replacing your mattress every 7 to 10 years. There are many tools out there that can help you maintain optimal posture and positioning so that you can get the job done without causing additional strain or aggravation to your low back. For example, if you are having trouble getting your socks on, the sock aid is a tool that lets you sit and keep your back in a neutral position to get your socks on, rather than trying to bring your foot up to your hands or bend down to reach your feet. The reacher can be used for many tasks, such as picking items up off the floor, reaching for items up high. If reaching or bending are movements that irritate your back, then the reacher may be helpful to you. It can even be used to help you get your pants on. There are numerous long-handled devices out there that are designed to reduce strain on your low back, such as long-handled reachers and dustpans, so that you can avoid repetitive reaching or bending when cleaning your home, which are two movements which often irritate the low back. Not all strategies discussed will necessarily work for everyone. It's about finding what strategies work for you. It can be helpful to keep track of the strategies you have learned that support your back and put these into what we call a self-management plan. Oftentimes, when our back is in a flare, we have a hard time identifying ways of getting out of that flare. Due to brain fog caused by the pain, it can make it difficult to think about strategies we have tried that have worked for you in the past. A self-management plan is a nice way of keeping track of all those ideas. Your own toolbox, so that when you are in a flare, you can easily find a tool for helping you overcome that flare. Our goal of the low back pain program is to help you find the tools that work in your toolbox to help protect your back and learn strategies that turn down the level of your pain you are experiencing in your day. We want to help you find the lifestyle strategies that support you in doing the things you want to do, need to do, and have to do on a daily basis and help you maximize your quality of life. If you have any questions, please consult with one of our rural Wellington low back pain team members and we will be happy to help.